All right, welcome back to another video. In the last video, we spent some time doing an example with API validation and bringing that to the front end to be displayed to the user. And then we started diving into highlighting recently added rows into the table so that the user just had a bit more of a visual indicator which row is new to the table and that they just submitted. And I stopped on that because I was running into issues, but I did a little bit of research and I have a path forward. So let's start with that. So highlighted rows, where were we? Okay, yeah. So the last video, we got the highlighted rows. So whenever a row was added to the table in create school, somewhere in here, maybe an index. Yeah, highlight row, and all it does is push that new row to the highlighted row state, and then we're passing that all the way down to the table. What we're going to do is int d has a class or a prop called row class name, and that can be used to change the class name on the row based off some property. So if we pass that in here, we can say, maybe we'll put this in a little method. Actually, we probably don't need to. If the highlighted rows, what type is that? It's of type school. And the data is of type schools as well. I generally don't like comparing objects, but if the highlighted rows, let's see, JavaScript if object in list. Yeah, and this is a, let's see if there's a more elegant answer. Just find return row.id equals record.id. ID does not exist on school. It should though, we should really have ID here, and I think it actually might be there, it's just our type isn't defined properly. All right, let's see what happens when we refresh with that. And actually, if we just do a quick refresh and then check the network tab, and we look at our schools request and look at an example, oh, they don't actually have ID. Okay, so to add ID, all we have to do is go to our school serializer and add ID into these fields. Okay, so now if we do a little refresh, we create school and do test. There's our validation we added last time. So we just added this row, and if we inspect it, table row light, and then these say table row dark. So that class is working. Now we just need to rename these. I'm actually going to say highlighted isn't a good name. It's more like just added, row just added. And if it's not fun, we don't need an extra class right now. So we can just do row just added. And if we go to our styles, which we all have in one place right now, we can say background color, and maybe we just do like a, I don't know what color is that. I don't know. Just do something random for now. Maybe light blue. I think that works. There we go. So we can at least see it. The thing is, we only want that to flash on the screen for a brief moment. So I'm going to do what any good dev does, and I'm going to add a set timeout to just remove that after a few seconds. So insert new data, that's called from the parent, highlight row. JavaScript set timeout. I always forget how you're supposed to write this. So then what we can do is you set it highlighted, and then we're going to actually remove it. Expected comma, I think I just need one more there. And I think this wants a number, right? All right, let's see what happens. So go to create school, blah, 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 blah. I think we have validation for high school, right? Let's just double check. Yeah, we added some validation for that. There we are. So it just highlights for a second. Pretty ugly, for sure. I'm going to leave it just because, well, actually, CSS animate background color. Just to make it the transition a little bit nicer, I think we can just do this. Let's do 500. And rather than light blue, let's pick something a little bit softer. Azure, that seems nice. Or Alice blue, that's probably what I wanted actually. All right, let's see what that looks like. Should feel a little bit better. We're going to come back at some point and just like review all of the colors and move them to variables, so don't worry too much about that. There we go. So just highlights for like a second. It was like barely visible. I wonder, I'm just kind of curious because it sort of drops away. You lose the animation when it disappears. Just rename this a little bit. Just added table row, and then default table row, background color, white. We'll move this so we're not copying and pasting in a second if it does work, but say this looks a little bit better. Yeah, way better. So you can sort of see it fade in and out. You can adjust the timing if you want, but we're going to leave it like that. All right. I'm going to set this back to 1,000. I think that will feel a little bit better. We're going to run out of schools in this district soon. Yeah, super subtle, but something fun. You can remove it if you want. I'm going to keep it for now. I might remove it in the future. Okay, so next step is this table should go into a submitted state because it's probably possible to click it twice if I'm really fast. Or maybe not. But you do just generally want a submitted state on your form, so let's do that. So on create, on form submission, I wonder if they actually have like a disabled while submitting or if it's already implemented. Only available for empty components, so if you use like custom components, you have to do it yourself. I just search for disabled. All right, let's just do that. Generally what I've done in the past is I have a submitting method, or like we can do is submitting. By default, we are not submitting, and then we can keep it pretty simple. So the asynchronous part is right here. So this is when you do submit is right. And then after all that asynchronous work is done, then you can do set is submitting false again. And then all we have to do is say disable the form if is submitting. So that way, as soon as you click that button and an asynchronous task is occurring, it can't be clicked until it completes. Let's see if we can see it. Oh, we've run out of districts. So if you remember, we can just quickly create one by running the shell. Running the shell when you're in the right folder. Example, so the app, the module, import district, and then we can just do district objects.create name equals what's the region? I've got Caribou and Okanagan, Lower Mainland. Here we go. So we've got a new district we can use, refresh. It's right there. Test. So you don't even see it happen because it's so fast, but the form is being disabled. I'm going to trust that works. You can probably test it. Like one way, actually, I'll show you this if you don't know. You can throttle your API request locally. So that it seems like they're really slow. So now if we click this, the form disabled, you saw it disable for a split second there, and then it finished. Let's turn off that throttling. But that's done. And next thing we want to do, which is a bit more exciting, is we're going to add an edit button so we can start editing rows. So if we go to the table, let's see. See their examples. They have sort of like text actions, which I might just do. All right, let's just do that. So we got our basic usage example here. So they just call it action. If we go to our table, all right, here's our columns here. Okay. We just copy one of the other columns. Action. Oh, there is no data index, right? What do they do? Oh, they just don't have a data index. Okay. And then it must be record, right? Something and then record. I wonder what that other parameter is. Or, yeah. All right, let's see if that renders. All right, so it's getting the whole object there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have some text. Which is going to say edit. And when you click it, it's going to probably call a prop method that's like edit row or something like that. Do we have any examples of text buttons? Our primary buttons default. I want like a really simple button. They're using links, which isn't quite what I want. Yeah, we just want a text button like that. Or maybe even a dash button. It's probably fine. Let's do dashed. Okay, buttons import from there. All right, let's go back to our table. From ant D, we're going to import button, and then in our column, we're going to return a button of type dashed that says edit, and then on click for this button, on clicks on click. On click, we're going to call a method edit row, and we're going to pass in that row parameter. Edit row is not defined. It's going to be a prop because all that functionality is going to be from above. So edit row is going to be a function. And if we go back here, the school table, so now we need an edit row prop, or yeah, prop. We're just going to pass an edit row and you should define that. It gets one parameter, which is the school of type school. And this is probably going to return nothing. Okay. So when that happens, we're going to need to pass that data to the to create school, which is a bad name for this. It's going to be like school form after this because we're going to be creating and editing. Yeah, I think what we can just do is on the schools page, we're going to have a state here called what's a good row like for the one that's being, or a good name for the one that's being edited or selected. It's not really selected. It's like the currently being edited row. But edited row feels wrong because it's not quite edited. I'm gonna call it edit row. How about that? Is that the name of our method? It is. Let's call it edit data. And then all we have to do is edit row is actually just sets edit data. We can remove this, and then we'll pass in edit data. Which might be a bad name for this, but we're going to roll with it. So edit data is of type school or like none. What's none again? Unknown? All right, and then we can have a use effect so that whenever edit data changes, actually, rather than doing on the edit data, I'm going to do one hide form is whether it's shown, right? Oh no, it's not. Is form visible as that? Hmm. I kind of want this prop available in the component as well. This is form visible because then I can do things based off whether the form is visible or not. Um, Feels like a bit of a smell, but so return nothing if the form's not visible. And but now we can do whenever the form, whenever that changes, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to reset the form, which isn't a method yet. But then we're going to say if there is edit data, we're going to set the form data. Reset form, running that like a class method, const, reset form. Okay. So in the int d documents, there was a way to like use the form. Oh, how did I click checkbox? I was like, that's not a lot of documentation. Um, Dynamic, no. There's a way to like set values programmatically. Login form, inline form, customize form control. Somewhere in here. Come on. Use form. Here we go. Form set field value. Do we call use form in here already? We don't. Okay. So if we go back to those docs, you can see here we're calling form use form, which is getting this, and we're passing that into the form equals form here. What do they call use form? Just at the top of the component, eh? Oh yeah, it's a hook. Okay. Equals use form. What did I do? There we go. Form.use form. And then I'm just gonna paste this here. This is what we got for, oh no, all over the place. So we can do form, pass in the form prop, which is just form. But now we need that code for setting field values, which is right here. There we go. So if edit data is not equal to undefined, that means it has a bunch of stuff on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to populate the values, name, category, and district ID. Category and district ID. And then I guess in reset form, actually all it's going to do is do the exact same thing. And these shouldn't be empty. When edit data is like this, we're going to be getting that edit data, which is of type school, and we should have the name, right? It's possibly null. Why is it possibly null when I say it's just let's see. TypeScript is null or undefined. So if we go back to index, our edit data by default is going to be null. And it's going to be type school or null. There we go. Go back to create school. It's actually going to be school or null. Now we can do like that full check. So what that Stack Overflow answer was saying is if you use, when you use like the triple statement, like so like 3 equals or double equals with the exclamation mark, it's looking at the type as well. But when you remove it, it's like this stupid JavaScript check. But now we can be way more strict about this because it's either school or null. But edit data.category and edit data.district. Okay. This returns void. All right, let's see what happens. That was like a lot of code without any testing, which is not what you generally want to do, but it's okay. So we click edit and nothing happens. Perfect. So let's see. Close everything to the right here. So we got our school table. It's calling edit row, which is a function that's passed in, which is actually set edit data. I think it was actually working. This is where you weren't showing the form. That was a misstep, right? So when I'm actually going to move this into a method. Open edit form. We're going to make a method. Open, come on. I can't type. Open edit form. It's getting a prop, which is the row, which is of type school. It's going to return void. And we're going to set is form visible to true, and we're going to first set is set edit data to the row. And I'm also just going to console log that row. There we go. Let's see what we get now. So do a little refresh. Let's open up our console. Click edit. Okay, we're close. So a few things are going on here. One is when we're setting this data, district is a whole object, so we want to pass in the ID of that. And two, this should actually be called, we don't, that's so funny. All right, I moved this variable inside here, but we actually just want to keep it out here, not pass it in as a prop. And then, yeah, no prop here, none here. And then when edit data is changed, that's when we'll do all that stuff. Okay, so now if I click edit, oh, we're getting some errors. Okay, so open edit form. All right, something's going on here. Let's do a refresh again. The form is like, oh, the form is permanently stuck open right now. I have this backwards. Is form visible? There we go. Here we go. Do a refresh. Click edit. Populates it. Click edit on another. Populates it. So it's a bit weird that you can like open the form and then just click on the other ones to edit them. Oh yeah, and we're also, that's still a post request. Okay, that's a good start. When you click edit, it's opening the form, it's populating it. Now we need to make the form like say it's going to edit and actually do edits rather than creations. But we will do that in the next video. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next one.